Hello, 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 and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too because you are watching content like this. The name of this channel is Holistic Manifesting because I believe in a whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives that we're choosing. What I'm discussing in this video is how to know if someone has a winner mindset or a defeated mindset. And the reason why this is so important is because when you are trying to shoot for new levels in life, you're trying to create something really specific, or you're trying to advance yourself in a very particular realm in society, right? You want to make sure that you are surrounded by the right people, because the connections in the social environments that you are in, the cultural capital, the social capital, is just as important as the financial capital. So when you are in those environments and you're doing your thing, you have to be able to know what people and environments to gravitate towards and which ones not to. Especially sometimes if we find ourselves in a new environment where we don't know the people and we're not really sure how everyone, their modus operandi, right? It's really good to pay attention to where these are some things like I can clearly say means this person has a defeated mindset. And if they do, you want to get away as soon as possible, because the only reason why you're probably okay with them is because is because for some reason they see you as not a threat in any kind of way. But the minute that changes, it's not going to be a good one. So I have notes here today. So everyone that you're around is always going to influence who you are. They're going to start helping you make excuses, or either they'll start helping you expand and grow and excel. And that's what a lot of people's role are. You'll see, like, if you're on a weight loss journey, you get around people that's just like, girl, that's fine. We can have those cookies. We can do this next week. You want to be around people that's like, no, those cookies not worth it. They were here yesterday, they'll be here today, and then they'll be here tomorrow. We can always wait to have a cookie. That's the friend you need to be around if you're on that weight loss journey. So that's what we have to keep in mind. Who we hang around influences us very, very heavily, big time. Number one way is listen to how they discuss actual winners in society. And when I say winners, this is not a personal attack on anybody. I'm talking about really specific things when it comes to like success and creating a specific type of life that you want to live. People that are winning, they have good relationships with family and friends. They're able to donate to various charities, probably even have time to volunteer. They pretty much make their own schedule throughout the day. They can afford to do things for their children to set them up positively for the next generation, like college tuition, help them buy properties, all this sort of thing. Like, there are clear markers of this person's winning at life. Then life is not taking over on them. They're in front of it, right? And they have a good, emotional balance too. That's always important. So when you come in contact with people like that and you start talking to someone else about this person and you're just talking about you're inspired, you admire what they're doing and how they're operating, and they have nothing good to say and they start belittling what the person has accomplished and like picking it apart, that's when you know there's an issue there. That's when you know this person has a defeated mindset, especially if they start talking about all the different privileges this person had in their life. Because we can honestly say a lot of people are born into certain levels of living, certain areas in society. The thing about it is you don't even hear about most of them, because most people's kids that are just born into things don't become successful. They don't even really carry on the success next generations. You hear about the ones that take what they were given, and then they amplify it 100 times over. Because just because you're born into something, or just because you have a specific privilege, it doesn't mean you know how to work it and know how to make something out of it. It still takes a level of cleverness and a level of ingenuity to create something special, no matter what you're given in life, right? So if they can't talk about this person who's actually got all these markers of actually winning or creating beautiful things and having beautiful relationships and, creating new companies that serve people and are able to help people around them and benefit this person, benefit that person, and they just belittle it and pick it apart, that's a defeated mindset. And number two is whether or not a person takes full responsibility for both their successes and their failures. What you'll find with a lot of people is that when they fail at something, it's everybody else's. My mother didn't treat me right. My dad didn't treat me right. My siblings didn't treat me right. My husband wasn't right. My wife wasn't right. Everybody in the society was against me, right? You'll see that mindset. But when it comes to some success that they have, it's like, I got it out the mud. I did it all myself. I did it despite all these things that people were trying to do to me. They don't mention anything about the community that was surrounding them for them to even create what they were talking about the success in, right? So when a person is willing to be responsible for both what they deem as failures and what they deem as successes, that's how you know they have a winner mindset, because you can only get to next levels by clearly seeing what you have. It's kind of like a bank account, right? When you're not good with your finances, or you don't really stay on top of them like you need to. One of the tactics I used to use was that I didn't look at my bank account. Back in the day, I didn't look. I was be like, oh, I spent money, I ain't even looking. It would take me like a day or two to go look and see what we used to call it, what the damage was. Such poor money mindset, right? And so when you look at it like that and you think, I'm responsible for both the deposits that went in there when it's green and it's a plus sign, and both the negatives that went out of there. If I'm looking at it, I'm not looking at the whole picture, then I can't honestly take my finances to another level, because I'm not honestly looking at what's actually there. I'm not taking a full assessment. So when we are going down the same road and we experience something 3 or 4 times in our lives, and we see that it's a pattern in the way that we're operating, whether it's how we create relationships, what we do in the workplace, or what we do in our careers, our business, whatever that is, we got to say, hey, I'm responsible for this too. It may be some generational patterns or curses or whatever, but it's on me now. I'm responsible for fixing that now. And so whether people have a mindset like that, they let you know whether they feel like they're defeated or a winner. That person that never takes ownership for their other stuff, they always got this underdog mentality. Nonetheless, number 3 is they give credit when it's due, whether or not they like somebody or not. So people can have personal dislikes and personal disagreements and personal, misalignments with other people. But when that happens, if you're still able to look at that person and say, well, they were great at this, they did this well, and they did that well, then that is where that's where the mindset needs to be. I just thought about something, and it's never been more clear to me that I was on to something when I was interacting with somebody. But when people are able to say, this person is actually good at this, even though I don't like her personality, I don't like what she does, how she treats other people, but she's got it going on with this. She's an excellent mom in this case, or she's, really good at her business. She can do really good hair, whatever it is, when you can still say those things, that means that you have a winner mindset. That means that you are clearly assessing things in a logical way and saying, while I don't get down with that, I'm not going to sit here and deny that this person isn't good at that. The prime example is, this is my daughter. There's this girl at her school that I always saw walking when I go pick them up in the afternoon, and she has immaculate style, right? Like, they wear uniforms, but she somehow finds a way to set herself apart, even her hair, her makeup, everything, her shoes. And so she's always like, she even had like plaid boots to match the plaid skirt. It was, I was like, where did she get that at? But I mean, she's immaculate fashion wise. And this is a grown woman saying that. And so I was telling my daughter who she was. I was like, you've seen that girl? She was like, oh my God, that girl is evil. She's a mean girl, this and that and all that kind of stuff. And she said, but she does look good every day. Like, her hair is perfect. She's really pretty. She was like, she's really on it. And like those shoes and stuff. And it just made me feel really good in a sense, is because even though you can clearly see someone's personality, it doesn't mean that they're not killing it in other areas. You can dislike somebody and still acknowledge their greatness at the same time, right? Pay attention to that. Number 4 is watch out whether or not if they truly support other people. And that means, like, if you see somebody in the workplace and they're like, oh yeah, there was a position so-and-so was looking for, there's some resources, let me send that to them. There's an email, let me send that to them, or what are your kids selling in the office place? They don't get lost when people bring those Girl Scout cookies in. They're like, let me buy some of those cookies or whatever. Like, when you see them actually not just paying lip service, but actually supporting other people. I remember I was around someone a while ago, and they were always going on about Black businesses, Black community, and we got to support each other, blah, blah, blah. I've heard it my whole entire life. I grew up in environments like that, which is fine and dandy. I believe it very well. So we need to learn how to support people more. That's always a good thing, right? And so when I was sitting there, I was like, oh, well, I write books. I was like, I got these books here, you should check them out or whatever. First of all, they refused to buy any of the books. They made it very clear. It's like, oh, I'm not in the market to buy anything right now. This is literally the words that came out of their mouth after shooting all this, spouting all this off. And the other one was, I was like, oh, I could give it to you. You don't have to pay for them. We're cool. That's when I didn't have a real good discernment of if whether, and it's like almost my brain wasn't truly latched on. It's like, oh, this person's a hater. Just let it go. I still was thinking that there's some, realness in there, but it wasn't. And then they finally said, well, you know what? I just don't read books like the ones that you write. I was like, which ones? The fiction ones, or the personal development ones, or the affirmations like murder mystery? I was like, I've read in a lot of genres. And they were like, and they didn't say anything, right? It's like, well, I just don't do whatever. That let me know that this person had a defeated mindset, because the idea of supporting someone else made them feel super, super small. It made them feel like as if you had more on them than they did. People that can't really support other people or like show actual, support and like, cheer them on or do whatever it is in some kind of way, it usually just shows that they want to be the big fish in a little pond. They want to be the one that has all the great things and all of the accomplishments and all of the advancements, and they don't want to see anybody else with it. So when you just happen to inconveniently be there accomplishing things and being exactly what these people are usually discussing, you'll see really quickly whether or not they have that winner mindset or defeated, because winners always want to assist other people. Winners always want to stay in close proximity with other people who they feel are winning in life. It's just what it is, right? And number 5 is if they give up super easily on things in life. That is huge, because a lot of people will walk around and say that they tried this and they tried that and they tried this, and then they literally give up on it. And then all of a sudden, life doesn't work out, or we don't get what we want in life, or what's for you, it's for you, right? We don't necessarily get to see the full outcome of that because you didn't even keep at what you were doing. And a lot of times people give up on things easily because, first of all, they do have a defeated mindset. But deeper into that is that they don't really know who they are, and they're choosing things that are not inherently connected to who they are. And because they're doing that, they don't know how to stick with things. Like, if making videos and sharing this information and doing these little, notes and taking notes all week and then sitting down making these videos, if this wasn't something that I truly enjoyed, there's no way you can keep doing it. There's too many complications. Every time it's time for me to do something doesn't work. A lighting doesn't work. The audio's not working. I've had to recreate videos. Like, you can't just do that if you don't truly see it as a part of who you are. It's got to be as natural to you as getting up in the morning and yawning and brushing your teeth and washing your face, all these things. And so when people give up on things easily, is literally most of the time they don't know who they are. And so they're choosing things that they're not spiritually in alignment with and they're not truly connected to. And so because of that, they kind of fall into that defeated mindset of like, well, things don't work out for everybody. And they use words like lucky a lot. They don't want to acknowledge anybody else's work that they put towards things, because God forbid work actually matters, right? God forbid the work actually matters. And so they want to say people are lucky, and if things are supposed to fall in your lap, they will, and all these sort of things. And we all know that none of that is true. Like, if I shut down everything I was doing today and never did anything else related to videos, writing books, or anything like that, I would be a fool to think anything's going to come from that environment. And if something did, I would call that lucky. Now that I would call lucky. But when I see people actually putting in work and it's long term and they're doing this and that, and then I see the fruition, the outcome of it, 10 to 15 years later, that's how you know it is what it is. And it's built on the network that they created, the people that they've connected with, the environments, the classes they've taken, the courses they've taken, the projects that they've developed. All these things matter, and they go and they culminate into one huge area a lot of times in most people's lives. And a lot of people, what you'll find is when they give up easily, they've given 15 minutes to an idea and then walked away from it. And I've done this myself, so I already know. It's mostly because I wasn't in alignment with it. And I didn't go blaming other people and saying it's because of this or that, or, if it was for me, it would be for me, like that kind of thing. And just a whole defeated mindset. I didn't do that. No, what I did was like, well, let me keep on digging to find those things that truly connect with me. And then I saw growth, and then I saw expansion, and then I saw the outcomes that I wanted to experience. It wasn't before that. Right. And there's still more things that I want to see outcomes for. And, it's not going to be based on luck. It's going to be based on, are you co-creating? Are you tapping into your full alignment with the creator? Are you tapped into source energy? Are you tapped into the larger aspect of who we are, right? That's why I always say the whole being experience, because you can't just siphon off little pieces of yourself and then try to make something work and then just give up on it at the end of the day. I spent too much time on that one. It's because, I have a personal thing with that one right there. It's like people just talking in defeatist conversation and then acting like it's law, Anyway, 5 ways to know whether people have a winner mindset or a defeated mindset. And the reason why this is important is because you can't win in areas where you want to win, whether it's relationships, whether it's finances, whether it's career, whether it's religion or your spiritual journey. You can't win in those spaces when you're surrounded by a whole bunch of people or environments that are contradicting your growth. You have to be in places where that growth is seen. That's why mentorships are so important. Everybody that I have been mentored by, I've somehow met the level where they were at or gotten really close to it at this point in my life with things that they were creating, because I looked at them and I said, they have already done it. It's just who they are. They are the blueprint of this particular path. So I'm going to hang in their space so that I can let these things, I can let osmosis happen and these things kind of fall into my being and who I am and how I operate, right? Anyway, I hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.